of Scotland faring relatively well. It should be quite a bright start across the far east, but there will be quite a lot of cloud coming and going through the day across many northern areas. Some rain across parts of the Pennines. We could see some across the Peak District as well as the high ground in the south and west. But I think for more southern areas and central areas, it will dry up and brighten up as the day goes on through Saturday. That cloud will push into more eastern areas of England into the afternoon, so perhaps a little bit hazier by the afternoon. Westerly winds as well, bringing a fresher feel across western coasts in particular, but in the east, temperatures climbing towards 27 or 28 degrees, so a very warm day for these areas, slightly much closer to average elsewhere. Further rain due on Saturday night into Sunday morning, particularly across western areas of Scotland, southwestern areas of Scotland, perhaps seeing some more rainfall. We could see up to 20 millimetres accumulating. Much drier further south once again, and that theme continues into next week, but it does turn dry a bit more widely into the middle of next week with temperatures climbing as well. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
We're celebrating a golden summer with a terrific two-part Great British giveaway. First, you could win a sensational £60,000 in tax-free cash. And that's not all, as you'll also win our most precious prize to date, a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. For a chance to win, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
The GB News audience is different, it's unique, because they see through the nonsense.
We want to debate with each other, we want to listen and maybe learn.
We have a chat. That's what we do. We try and have a chat.
They'll watch my programme while they're eating their tea, they'll watch breakfast while they're busy getting their kids ready for school.
We want to hear what matters to you, what is news for you.
And what's brought you out here today?
What are the biggest issues affecting this particular area?
The audience are the best thing about GB News.
They're friends. They're family. They're people who need to have their voices heard.
They're passionate about the channel, they're passionate about what they believe in.
The one thing about GB News is you get a chance to speak.
Talk to me about why so many people have gathered here today.
Do you want to say something back in return? The GB News audience is what makes GB News special.
It's incredible to see.
They shape our programmes, they shape our output, and they shape our channel.
That's what makes us the fearless champion of Britain.
Good evening, everybody. Look where I am, in the brilliant GB News studio here. Of course, it's 9 o'clock. I'm Alex Armstrong, standing in for Patrick Christys, who's having a very, very well-deserved rest. So big cheer for Patrick, because he's not here today. He's on holiday. Patrick, we missed you. I'm sure he'll be back very, very soon. All right, look, tonight on the show... Yes, meet. Keir Starmer is in legacy-building mode as he exits Downing Street shortly. And Andy Burnham has been taking questions from teenagers on social media. Also... That's right, Britain's become a safe haven for ISIS terrorists. Who would have thought it? I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? And of course, people smugglers too, and...
Watch out, massive fatties, the Lard police are in town.
Right, well, the NHS is going to give people vouchers to walk more than 20 minutes a day. Let's just hope the vouchers aren't for McDonald's, because that would kind of defeat the purpose, wouldn't it? Plus... Lisa Nandy, the Culture and Media Secretary, has oddly quit Twitter. The media bit, Lisa, that's kind of in the title. You know, you've got to engage with the media. Also...
We're making sure that pubs can stay open on Monday morning, early on Monday morning, for the England game. So, come on, England.
You can't make it up, can you? Keir Starmer's most popular policy has been U-turned. Not by him for once, but by the Mexico Football Association. And more importantly, the Mexican weather's taking him down. I'm going to bring you more on that. And Big Brother is well and truly here to stay, as Sainsbury's are rolling out facial recognition in their stores. I'll tell you all the details. A bit of a shocking one, that one. Joining me tonight, Associate Editor of The Telegraph, Poppy Coburn's here. That's it, yes. Journalist and broadcaster Christo Fufas. Yeah. Reform UK County Councillor for Epping Forest, Jamie McIver. And, of course, Labour MP for Brent West, Barry Gardner. Yes, lots coming up on the show. Meep, next.
Alex, thank you very much. The top stories. Football's world governing body FIFA is in discussions to move England's World Cup last 16 clash with Mexico to an earlier kick-off time due to the risk of weather disruption. According to reports, it could be moved to noon local time, that's 7 p.m. UK time. There's no clear outcome just yet. The game had been scheduled for 6 p.m. local time, that's 1 a.m. in the morning here in the UK, but was reportedly moved due to the risk of storms and also reportedly to enable more fans to watch the game here. And it's all after Sir Keir Starmer had announced pubs would stay open until 5 a.m. on Monday to allow for England fans to watch the game. GB News' chief US correspondent Ben Leo spoke to me about the situation.
Ahead of Mexico's previous game against Ecuador in Mexico City in the same stadium, the Azteca, which is their equivalent of Wembley Stadium, I guess, it was delayed momentarily by thunderstorms and bad weather. They fear that on Sunday evening, when the game would have been played, originally scheduled for 1 a.m. UK time, they may be at risk of further delays through bad weather. The second reported reason is that it's for UK viewers, English viewers, to watch it earlier on television. That, I have to say, sounds like absolute nonsense. I don't see why FIFA would move a game of this magnitude. It's a last 16 clash.
In other news, Andy Burnham has ruled out calling an early general election if he becomes the Prime Minister later this month. Taking part in an online Ask Me Anything session on Reddit today, one user asked whether he would call an election. He replied no. The newly elected MP for Makerfield is so far the sole candidate in the running to replace Sir Keir Starmer as the leader of the Labour Party and could become the Prime Minister on the 20th of July. During the Reddit session, he also said it's important to continue the Labour manifesto commitment to maintain the triple lock on the state pension. Tory leader Kemi Badenoch earlier claimed he was choosing to use the online social media forum because it's easier than facing what she called unbiased, neutral media scrutiny. In other news, West Midlands Police is facing calls to release the full footage of an incident in which a white man was arrested following an altercation with a group of black men. The incident, which happened in Birmingham on the 21st of June, has sparked debate online, with Reform UK's Robert Jenrick calling the incident baffling and saying that the police have lost the benefit of the doubt of many. West Midlands Police confirmed a 20-year-old man had been arrested and charged with assaulting a police officer, adding that they're now carrying out active inquiries to identify those involved. And the man who murdered student Henry Novak is seeking to appeal against his conviction and sentence, the Court of Appeal confirmed today. Vikram Digwa was jailed for life with a minimum of 21 years in June after fatally stabbing the 18-year-old in Southampton last December. The sentence has already been referred to the Court of Appeal as unduly lenient. But today the court did confirm Digwa is seeking to appeal against that conviction. No date for either the appeal or the bid to increase the sentence being set, with no details yet provided about Digwa's challenge. Those are the latest headlines for now. It's back to Alex.
Take the GB News family with you on any device. As long as you have an internet connection, tune into GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond.
Welcome to Patrick Christys tonight. I'm Alex Armstrong. We're going to have a lot of fun on this show because is this one of Keir Starmer's biggest successes in government?
I don't think there's any parliament that is gayer than this one.
Yeah, it has been a little bit of a gay government, hasn't it? And how's the outgoing Chancellor coping with all of this?
I'm not sure if anyone wants my advice.
I mean, it's a bit difficult to watch, isn't it? And I think that's the first time I might have agreed with the Chancellor. It's just that muffled mumbling. At least there's no policies coming out of there. Of course, she's still got chess to go to once this is all over for her, because she did once say she was the under-14s UK girls champion, which is heavily disputed, of course.
We thought you were going to win that second one.
Ah! She lost. Not that great. Maybe not a career in chess then. But perhaps there is one final shot for Rachel Reeves, because here she is, working at McDonald's. What do you think? Yeah, future career. It is real. It was part of a policy announcement, although I wouldn't be surprised if she's already had to tinker with her CV to claim she was the CEO of McDonald's. But what's next once they're both out of office? Well, let's also see what Nicola Sturgeon has been up to. Now her ex-husband's been jailed. Do you have a quick look? We got a picture of Nicola? Oh, that's it, right in the bottom right-hand corner there. She's having a great time boozing it up in the country she loves. England. That's right, she's been spotted in London, no less, the one place she constantly told Scots that were holding her country back. But looking forward, our future Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, is getting ready for power by outlining, well, pretty much nothing. I know we saw that speech the other day, the landmark economy speech. But this evening, he's been chatting to teenagers on social media and Reddit, the website's called. And Andy Burnham has claimed there's not going to be a general election, a surprise, surprise. He also wants to reform the electoral system and introduce proportional representation. Oh, and he's also going to keep the triple lock. What do you think about that? Is that a good thing, keep the triple lock, yeah? Yeah, I think people like that one. How much does he know about the fiscal rules he's pledged to stick to, though?
Can you remind us what the fiscal rules are?
I'm not going to go through a discussion like an exam on the fiscal rules.
Why
I know
not?
what the fiscal rules are,
Remind us what they are.
I've been very clear about it. We will set out a plan that is within those rules.
I don't know about you, but that doesn't really fill me with confidence that he knows what the fiscal rules are. But most worryingly, Burnham has opened the door to more of this.
There is some room for movement on tax, or movement on tax, movement on tax.
All right, well, I think on that note, it's a timely place to put a reminder of this.
Mark my words, Labour will raise your taxes. It's in their DNA. Your work, your car, your pension.
Thank you. OK,
you name it,
sorry,
Labour will tax it. I said it before, I'll say it again. He is going to put up your taxes.
Thank you.
Put up your
Thank
bills
you very
as
much.
clear as night follows day.
There you have it, as clear as night follows day. Well, look, joining me tonight is Associate Comment Editor of The Telegraph, Poppy Coburn. Yes, lovely to see you, Poppy. Broadcasting royalty, I think you're known as, aren't you, Christo? Fufas! Reform UK County Councillor for Epping Forest, Jamie McIver. And get ready, it's Labour MP for Brent West, Barry Gardner.
Much better.
Yeah, they stepped that up. They stepped that booing up. All right, look, I'll start with you, Christo, because Andy Burnham, we don't really know what he's going to do we? He's laid out this weird list of little things like devolution. He doesn't want a general election. He wants to reform the electoral system for proportional representation. But other than that, don't really know anything.
And the issue I have with Andy Burnham, I have many issues with Andy Burnham, but the problem is that he is not elected, and nothing that he is going to be doing is going to be fair or democratic, because unless he just does exactly the same as Keir Starmer, there needs to be a general election. And of course he's not going to do that because he is a coward. That's the word I'm looking for. Now, he has outlined one thing that he wants to do. Now, if all the problems that we face in the United Kingdom at the moment, and you can tell me, we have an audience here, so you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong on this, but we've got a cost of living crisis, the world is the least stable that it's ever been, we can't afford fuel, we can't afford food, all of these issues. We've got an immigration problem that is coming across the channel, and of course in the numbers when it comes to our infrastructure. So who here, out of all of those problems, thought, I know what we need another number 10 Downing Street in the north of England? Did anyone think of that? Did anyone in the whole of the UK think that that was going to be the answer to our problems and spend £500 million on it? Absolutely not. Another layer of government. Who needs more government? Who needs more devolution? We don't need more government, we need less government. So, and of course the land tax, which he'll bring in as well. How can he do any of this stuff without having a general election? It's completely undemocratic, and I'm sorry, a 12-minute interview on LBC and a couple of questions from 13-year-olds does not a Prime Minister make.
All right, Poppy, that I'll tell you what, that interview on the BBC where he was asked about the fiscal rules was quite shocking, actually, because this man is going to be walking to Downing Street in a matter of weeks. He obviously doesn't know what the fiscal rules are, otherwise he would have answered the question, wouldn't he? What do you think of Andy Burnham? Do you think PR's a good idea, for example?
No, I don't think PR is going to be the solution to Britain's problems. I mean, I quite agree. The problem with Andy Burnham is that he's a man utterly without substance. You know, he's been every single political flavour under the sun. When it was fashionable to be a Blairite, he was a paid-up Blairite. When it was fashionable then to go over to Gordon Brown, he was a Brownite. When he's thrown out of Parliament, he's suddenly king of the North, and now he's coming south, and he's the great progressive hero. The point is that Andy Burnham believes in nothing beyond being liked. He's someone who desperately craves the attention and the affection of the people around him. That means he will be incapable of making any difficult decisions that his Labour backbenchers won't like. And what actually destroyed Keir Starmer's government, really, when it comes down to it? I know Keir Starmer is a particularly bad politician amongst not exactly a particularly good crop of politicians we have at the moment, but it was fundamentally the problem that he had was he couldn't go against his own MPs. He couldn't govern, he couldn't lead, he couldn't say, no, we have to make a difficult decision here, that's for the good of the country, that's in the national interest. That is what Andy Burnham will do. It is what he has always done. So the moment there's some kind of international crisis, which we're not exactly lacking in at the moment, he will crumble. And it will be exactly as Kemi Badenoch says, and I rarely agree with her, but she was spot on in PMQs last week. He is a pair of eyelashes and a fashionable T-shirt. That is all the man is. There is no substance to him, and he will be a terrible Prime Minister.
But Poppy, buses. Buses. Why is no one talking about the buses?
That's right. Yeah, we're all excited for the buses, aren't we? Jamie, is Andy Burnham a problem for Reform UK?
Do you know, he's not. So, first of all, spent a lot of time in Makerfield. Andy Burnham is not King of the North. I can assure you of that.
No, because it's in the
What Andy
Midlands.
Burnham was a ticket to get rid of Starmer, and let's thank the people of Makerfield for getting rid of Starmer with their huge vote share, either way. Secondly, Andy Burnham is not a problem for Reform because, unlike the leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage believes in stuff. Andy Burnham doesn't. Nigel Farage has been consistently calling out illegal immigration, the problems of the European Union, and has been right and proven right on so many things. And just this week, a small boat arrived in Nigel Farage's own constituency of Clacton. So the British people trust Nigel Farage, they do not trust Andy Burnham. But let me tell you, if you live in Manchester and you're on a six-figure salary and you want to work for a PR agency and live in a posh, swanky skyscraper in Manchester City, then yet Burnham's been a great mayor for you. Go to Wigan, go to Bolton, go to the outskirts of Manchester. Andy Burnham has failed people, and he will fail the country as Prime Minister.
All right, look, so, yeah, there you go. Barry, I just want to have a quick one-sentence answer from you and then get the thoughts of the audience or something.
Sentence?
Yeah, and then I'll
you give this lot. You give this lot as long as he blinking well night.
Hear me out.
One sentence, and make it a short one, Barry. We've got to go to the break.
Hang on, hear me out.
This is
outrageous. Hear me out. Obviously, we'll give you a chance to respond to all of them.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you one question first, then I'll let you
Listen,
run away
just
with it.
start the booing now, OK?
Do you think the British public want a general election, Barry? Yes or no?
Look, I think...
One sentence. One sentence.
One word, no.
Right. Do you want... Now, let me ask the audience, then I'll come back to you. Yeah. Do you want a general election in the audience? Raise your hands if you do. Right, that is 1, 2, 3... That is 90% of the audience. Barry, what did you make of that?
Yes, you have an audience that is self-selected to come on this programme. Look, let's just get this right, OK? First of all, a few facts, OK, to counter what was said. Christys said this is the least stable the world has ever been. Well, look, I would put forward the period between 1939 and 1945 as perhaps a little less stable than it is today. He wasn't actually thrown out of Parliament, Poppy. He stepped down to become Mayor of Manchester, OK? Just a few facts. Coward? OK. Cowards would not have taken on a by-election in an area where 16 seats had just been up for grabs and 15 had been won by your party. Yet he did, and he won. And I was on the doorstep a lot in Makerfield as well. And what I found was that actually he was very popular. Why doesn't he have a general election? Now, have a general election. But let's just get this right, because you used the word coward. That's what Kemi Badenoch was, saying. Mr. Farage was filmed saying that she was a coward, right, in the middle of a field, as far away from any journalists as he could possibly get, right, because he didn't want any of them to ask him about his 5 million quid, or his promise to have Reform Council's lower council tax, or his house in Clacton, or his Financial Conduct Authority referral. Barry. If Farage is keen on having elections, right, then he could have asked Robert Jenrick, Danny Kruger, Suella Braverman, when they changed party, to have stepped down and done what he thinks is the decent thing, to have held a local by-election. But he didn't, OK? But he probably will have an election soon, because if the Standards Committee goes ahead, he may well actually have to have a local by-election in Clacton.
Right, on that, Barry Gardiner, the 27th of May 2019, Barry Gardiner says, given the Conservative Party's results tonight, it cannot be right that a new Conservative leader should not face a general election.
Yeah.
So Andy Burnham should face a general election? Fair's fair?
Listen, I would not be surprised if Andy Burnham gives it a couple of months,
and then calls a general election. And actually, if you remember, the big mistake that Gordon Brown made, he'd had a good 3 months, and he was just, well, he actually told us he was going to call a general election, and then he got cold feet because David Cameron walked up and down the stage talking to the audience at his party conference without any auto cues and anything like that, right? Big mistake, because then he went down in the polls. He could have won a general election, I think, probably in 2010.
He was winning in the polls.
He was winning in the polls, and he bottled it, and that was wrong.
All right.
But actually, I think Andy Burnham, if he's smart, he'll come in, he'll say, look, of course I'm not going to do that immediately. People have got to see how I'm going to govern. But actually, maybe in 6 months or a year's time, he says, you know what? Now we go for an early general election. But what he's got to do is he's got to carry out those bits of the Labour manifesto that have not been implemented yet. I mean, I want to see leasehold reform. I want to see. I want to see the
number 10 in the North was not in the Labour Party manifesto.
No, but it's hardly the biggest policy.
It's not £500 million. It's quite a big policy. And I'm sorry, people voted for Keir Starmer, and if they check, and now I know what you're going to say to me. You're going to say no. They didn't. They don't. They vote for a parliamentary. They vote for their MP. They vote for the whole party. Would you like to see the front page of the Labour Party manifesto? Can you see that on camera? That is a picture of Keir Starmer, front page of the Labour Party manifesto.
Hands up whoever actually went out, bought and read the Labour Party manifesto. Yeah, I thought I'd be the only... Poppy, you and I, well done. Great. But look, as if that
pointless. Manifestos are pointless. I must ask a very serious question.
Very briefly, though,
if as a respected Labour MP as you are, surely you and your colleagues will get together and write to the new Prime Minister and call out the urgency to have a general election for that very reason.
Look, I will no doubt be chatting with Andy next week.
Good.
And
tell him to come on the show, please, Barry.
I'm quite sure that Andy will make up his own mind without any need for advice from me.
Just to interrupt, the gentleman at the back that wants to ask a question. Fire away.
Barry, you mentioned 1939 to 1945 was turmoil and a risky time for the world. Yeah. But we had a leader. We had a leader who took us out of it.
Yeah.
Do you really believe Andy Burnham is going to take us out of this?
Well, look, Andy Burnham, I believe, is a good leader. I believe he will be a good leader. But when you say take us out of this, he's not going to be able to single-handedly take us out of what's going on in Ukraine, because we're not in that war, thank God. We're not in the war in the Middle East, thank God. But although Reform and the Tories actually wanted us to go sailing in after the Americans, by the way,
Barry, I'm going to have to rush you. We will
I thought you probably would.
Very quickly.
The Americans, by the way, have just offered Iran $100 billion to open the Straits of Hormuz without charging fees for.
All right. Well, the big question is going to be.
They have lost all influence in that war. And that's a serious question we all have to face, and our economies do.
Would you like to win 60 grand? Yeah? Audience, anyone like to win 60 grand? Well, you guys can enter, none of us can, and you can win 5 grand's worth of a gold bar. That's pretty cool. Give it to anyone you like. I'd keep it myself, but if you do fancy giving it away, I can give you my address after the show. Here's all the details you need.
We're celebrating a golden summer with a terrific 2-part Great British giveaway. First, you could win a sensational £60,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like this year. What would you do with that? And that's not all, as you'll also win our most precious prize to date, a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. It's pure gold to own, trade or gift to a loved one and secure their financial future. So make sure you don't miss your chance to bank over £65,000 worth of prizes in our Golden Summer celebration. For a chance to win £60,000 in tax-free cash and a real gold bar, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 086 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
All right, coming up, Reform UK's Nigel Farage has branded Tory party leader Kemi Badenoch a coward for not backing his party's calls for a snap general election. Is that really what the country needs? That's coming up next.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to stop. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter? So that's a very live question. Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me.
The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys tonight with me, Alex Armstrong. Do you want a general election? Yeah. Do you want a general election at home? Let me know on gbnews.com/yoursay. I'll read out some of your views. Barry doesn't want a general election, doesn't think the public want a general election, but we'll talk more about it. Have a listen to this.
My colleagues, myself included, want Andy Burnham to take over as the new Prime Minister. The public expect us to focus on delivering the change we were elected to deliver less than 2 years ago. The public do not want a general election.
Right, well, that was Steve Reid there last week, and in the last hour or so, the soon-to-be Prime Minister, it seems, crowned. He is literally going to be the King of the North, isn't he? Andy Burnham has said he will not call one. Writing on Reddit, he said this: "As I said in my speech on Monday, I'm going to work to the 2024 manifesto." Well, this YouGov poll published last week found that 48% of Brits think there should be a general election once Sir Keir Starmer leaves his post as Prime Minister. And today, Reform UK leader Nigel Farage, who has led the calls for a snap election, has branded Tory party leader Kevin a coward for not backing his party. So, would an election destabilise British politics? Is it necessary? Poppy, do we need one?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. I think Farage is spot on about Kemi Badenoch, by the way. The reality of British politics at the moment is that it is every party against reform. You could really see that playing out in the local elections, and you could also see it playing out in the last couple of by-elections. There's an interesting phenomenon that's happened when you've got the Green Party and the Reform Party who have disrupted the traditional two-party system. It now means that Labour and the Tories aren't enemies anymore. Actually, they're not taking seats from each other, they're not taking votes for each other. So they have a very strong interest in colluding together to keep the insurgent parties out of Downing Street. And you could see that happening with the local elections. What happened? Did the Conservative Party want the local elections to happen? No, they didn't. They tried to cancel them. They wanted to cancel them because they knew, like the Labour Party, they would lose hundreds and hundreds of seats and they would lose control of dozens of councils. That's the reality. So I think there should be a general election now. We're not going to get one, but there should be. We should also consider if there is a general election called, let's say, next year, all Andy Burnham needs to do is just hold on, and every other party will collude with tactical voting to try and stop there from being a reform government. So you might end up with another 5 years of Labour, even though the majority of the country have no faith that the party can actually fix the political gridlock system we're in now. That is the worst possible outcome. So I think Reform should continue agitating for a general election now, because otherwise, the longer you lead it, the worse the situation will get for them.
Barry, do you think Kemi Badenoch's a coward?
Look, I think that what Poppy has said is very largely correct. I think there is going to be, in British politics, a stop Farage at all costs, because the majority of Britain's electorate do not want a reform government.
Majority of Britons don't want a Labour government. You can say that about any party, though.
Yes, but the majority, I think, are frightened of a reform government.
I think more people are petrified of Labour, actually.
James, do you think more people are scared of a Labour government?
Can I just point out one thing first, and then Jamie come in? And that is, your poll said 48% of the population want a general election. That means the majority of the population don't.
Well, I think it'll include don't knows in the middle, but yes,
I'm not sure whether the British people are scared of a Labour government, because we're actually in the living nightmare as we speak. It is a living nightmare, this government, on every level. From if you love your country and you're patriotic, you're being punished. If you love the fact we've got a good judiciary, you're being punished. If you like the fact that you can start a business in this country on a high street and achieve, you can't, because every corner you turn as a working, tax-paying, law-abiding Brit in this country, this government is out to get you. But what I think is an important point that no one is talking about at the moment in politics, and well done for Nigel for raising it, His Majesty's loyal opposition should be chomping at the bit to have a general election. It's like being an amazing footballer and being on the bench. You can't wait to be called on the pitch. And the Tories are cowards. They tried not once but twice to cancel local elections. And what did the British people do? They showed them what they thought of that when they voted anything but Tory, certainly where I live in Essex. And what we are seeing is His Majesty's loyal opposition actually failing in their duty to hold the government to account, because the ultimate accountability is to have a general election. They should be calling for it like mad, but they're not, because as usual, politicians, self-interest, more worried about holding on to their own little bit of the country, their own constituency, rather than looking at the national picture.
You cannot possibly say... I would choose Farage or Kemi over any of these people that are in government at the moment. I want to make that clear first. However, I don't think it's fair to say that Kemi Badenoch has not been holding this government to account. Her performances in Prime Minister's questions have been brilliant. I do think it's a mistake that she doesn't want a general election, though. On that, I think it's fair. I don't know if I'd call her a coward. I just think that she's a wine that has not quite matured yet, and she needs a few more brilliant performances.
Well, the British people are at the bar ordering their drinks, and they want a glass of wine, and they don't care how mature it is. They want want this government out, and they don't want a red wine.
But I agree, no one wants the red wine. Unfortunately, we'll stop with it.
It's a terrible house red we've got right now.
We used to get wine on this programme for the audience, but something happened, so I'm sorry you haven't got it.
But no, I think he's wrong to call her a coward, though. I think he is wrong, and I think that that's a bit hypocritical of Nigel Farage as well for saying that.
Well, yeah. Nigel Farage is hardly a coward. Nigel Farage is the bravest politician in Britain right now.
I think Nigel Farage has changed the political landscape. I'm not going to get an argument on this, but she's in competition to be our next Prime Minister. She did it through originality of ideas. She did it by daring to challenge some of the things that are accepted. Good on her. She has a glittering political future. Who's that? Nigel Farage talking about Kemi Badenoch. So I really don't think that we can take his words now as read when this is what he said before.
Poppy, there's an interest... So when I was thinking about this myself the other day, I actually think a general election right now wouldn't go very well for Reform UK and for the Tories in general, because the right is split three ways. You've got the Restore Britons at least sucking up 8% of the vote in a good day, perhaps. You've got Reform then losing perhaps some red wall seats because of that marginal difference they need to win, and the Tories, two right-wing parties campaigning against them, as well as the left. Do you not think that actually waiting is better? Give Andy Burnham some time to trip up?
Well, no, that would... The problem with waiting is that it implies that splits on the right are going to get better, not worse. You can actually hear from Kemi Badenoch's comments again last week. She ruled out, basically, explicitly, any kind of deal with Reform. The Conservative Party, while definitely not big enough to actually form a majority government, possibly at least for the next 10 years, God knows what's going to happen in politics then, is going to be a spoiler to a Reform government. Reform at the moment, they might be able to get a majority, but it will be a very slim one. I actually think the Labour Party, if it can hang on, but if it can get rid of the Green challenge, which would mean that the left is united behind one party, will have a massive advantage. That is why it's in the interest of Andy Burnham to hold off on a general election for as long as possible. If he can throw a bone to the hard left, he will have a united left front in this country. The right is going to be divided between three parties, and again, it means another 5 years of Labour. You're stuck with this government that doesn't work, doesn't actually deliver for people, doesn't have the confidence of the general public, and yet you can do nothing about it because the right is divided.
A coalition with the Liberal Democrats, Barry, would that be cosy for you?
Good God. Get thee behind me, Satan.
You'd do it, though, wouldn't you? I mean, if that was the option on the table, who would you prefer, the Liberal Democrats or Zach Polanski?
Oh, God. Oh, good Lord. Yes. Look, I understand what Poppy's saying. I don't think... I think your analysis of the way in which politics works and has been fragmented is absolutely right. And there will be challenges to both parties from the extremes. The Greens on the one hand, and Reform and... what are the other ones called? Restore. Reform and Restore on the other side. But I don't think it's going to work out quite in the way you suggest. I would expect that we will have a period where we get pretty active government over the next year or so, OK? I would say year to 15 months, where the government comes in, it builds on what it's did on renters' reform, which you and I were just talking about, which has been really positive for young people.
Rents are the highest they've been in history.
It builds on that. It then does the leasehold reform, which will free up about 5 million people from the chains of leasehold. It does popular things like taking Thames Water back into public control and public ownership. Those are the sort of things that I would expect an incoming government to say, let's do these big things, build a popular base, and then go for a general election.
All right, thank you, Barry, very much to the panel. Next on the show, the media secretary, Lisa Nandy. Do you know who she is? People don't care. Well, she's departing X. Can you believe it? She's leaving a platform despite being the media secretary, right? Should she be held accountable on that app? And that'll be coming up very shortly.
I hope we haven't forgotten anything.
Travel insurance, I tick that box.
Yeah, but remember what you forgot last year.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast. Plenty of fine weather across Europe at the moment, but Greece is reasonably showery, unusual for the time of year, and a strong breeze affecting the south of Italy. Less breezy for Madeira and the Canary Islands compared with the last few days. Iberia, plenty of hot sunshine and particularly hot through Portugal, mid to high 30s, and mid 30s expected through Italy, but a keen breeze will affect the south of the country, while showers continue for southern parts of Greece.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. Very warm weekend to come across southern areas, cooler in the northwest, where there will be some rain from time to time, particularly through this evening, as another weather front pushes into parts of western Scotland in particular, pushing a little bit further north than parts of Northern Ireland and extending down into some areas of northwest England. So a bit of an overcast and damp night to come for many northern areas, much clearer further south and east in particular. Clear skies across many central eastern areas. More cloud across the west in the south and some drizzly rain as well, but it will be a relatively mild start to the weekend with temperatures in the mid-teens for most areas. There will be quite a brisk breeze, though, across the far north of Scotland in particular. It's particularly the northwestern highlands that are going to see the heaviest rain throughout this weekend, as it does remain relatively persistent. More eastern areas of Scotland faring relatively well. It should be quite a bright start across the far east, but there will be quite a lot of cloud coming and going through the day across many northern areas. Some rain across parts of the Pennines. We could see some across the Peak District as well as the high ground in the south and west. But I think for more southern areas and central areas, it will dry up and brighten up as the day goes on through Saturday. That cloud will push into more eastern areas of England into the afternoon, so perhaps a little bit hazier by the afternoon. Westerly winds as well, bringing a fresher feel across western coasts in particular, but in the east, temperatures climbing towards 27 or 28 degrees. So a very warm day for these areas, slightly much closer to average elsewhere. Further rain due on Saturday night into Sunday morning, particularly across western areas of Scotland, southwestern areas of Scotland, perhaps seeing some more rainfall. We could see up to 20 millimetres accumulating. Much drier further south once again, and that theme continues into next week, but it does turn dry a bit more widely into the middle of next week with temperatures climbing as well. Bye-bye.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. Lisa Nandy, do you know who she is? Right, well, she is the Culture Secretary that also looks after media. And she just announced that her department and her will be leaving Elon Musk's X, formerly Twitter. That's right, she's leaving the platform. She's taking the whole department with her. That's like saying to your family, you know, I'm leaving Twitter, you're all coming off Twitter as well. So where did she announce it? Do you have any guesses where she announced she's leaving it? On X, right? That's like getting to the airport saying, I'm going on holiday. You don't need to announce your departure, Lisa. It's not an airport. It's a platform originally designed, this is what she said on X, a platform originally designed for free speech and expression now favours abuse and misinformation over meaningful debate. And that is not healthy for our democracy. Well, Kemi Badenoch has criticised the decision, saying the role for the Department of Culture, Media and Sport is to counter misinformation, not run away from it. Now, look, Christo, I did laugh I did laugh. She's been popping off at people on X like Nigel Farage last week. She's happy to have a debate. She also wants free speech, as she said in that message, but just not the kind of free speech she doesn't like, perhaps.
Well, it's the Sadiq Khan playbook, isn't it? Because, of course, remember, he was blaming misinformation and social media when people were pointing out the crime that was taking place in London. This government and the people in this government or the mayors from this government, they all call things they don't like misinformation. When in actual fact, like I said, if you don't like it, or if the people who are peddling it are so stupid and foolish, well then counter it. Well then have a debate with them. Like, tell them why they're wrong. I think that so many problems are just solved by having it out and having a good debate. But what they want to do, the dummy has been spat out, the toys are out the pram, and they've run away. And so how can you be surprised?
Well, I think it's become very trendy for politicians on the left to slag off Twitter, because unfortunately for them, or X I should say, sorry, am I showing my age? And unfortunately it's become a place where ordinary people actually having an opinion and they really don't like it. OK, there's bots and all these other things, but actually if you're in charge of DCMS, shouldn't you be excited to learn more about that, to deal with it? But actually fundamentally, I hope there's some consistency now. I hope Lisa Nandy now calls for, remove herself from The Guardian, the BBC, where there's all this other misinformation that likes to get spread out, all these other outlets where there's plenty of misinformation. So I'm personally of the view that it has become trendy for left-wing politicians because they're being called out on their record. They don't like it. They spent 14 years in opposition, giving it large, giving it large, giving it large. They get into government without a plan. They start wrecking the country, and they don't like it when normal people reply to their messages saying, that's not true, we don't like that, that's not what we want. I mean, I've been to the Wigan constituency. The last thing people there are worried about is X. Last thing they're worried about.
No, I don't know whether they're worried about whether Lisa Nandy's on there either, Poppy. Do you think people care? Do you think people are going to miss Lisa?
No, I don't really imagine that anyone was engaging with her at all. I mean, if there is one right as a British person, and we should always have, it is the right to insult your politicians. Sorry, Barry.
No, I'm totally... Listen, I come here every week to be insulted. I mean,
he enjoys it. It's a masochist.
You are. Yeah. I'll make sure I send you a message afterwards tonight telling you what I really think of you. Obviously positive. All I would say is I remember back when it was still called Twitter, there were a few political scandals on the site. The first one was called the Twitter Files.
That's right.
It was about the CEO of Twitter at the time taking advice from the US government under a Democratic administration, covering up the story about Hunter Biden's laptop, covering up stories about the COVID pandemic that they didn't like. And what did the left do in this country about that? Did they say anything? Did they protest? Did they give up their accounts on the site? No, they didn't. The reason they're doing it is because they don't like Elon Musk and they don't like the political right. It is a totally partisan move.
I'm really tight on time, Barry, but your thoughts, go on.
Look, I think a lot of people actually have got fed up with the algorithms, and it's about trying to promote conflict, it's aggression. I use X. I mean, I went on Twitter back in 2010, so you say how old since you've been on it. So I've used it, but actually the way I use it has been changed over the years. I used to engage. Now, you don't know whether you're engaging with the real person or with the bot, and so I don't bother anymore. But what I do is I use it to put out stuff because I know a lot of people do use it, and I know, and so I don't think it's as good a platform for debate as it used to be. But I agree with all that the panel have said about the importance of having debate, respectful debate where we can disagree.
Yeah, there you have it. All right, look, I mean, I think all politicians should just be allowed to be abused on X if need be. Just don't look at it. I get tons of abuse, just ignore them.
Sorry about that.
I thought it was you, Christy. All right, look, coming up, how was Britain getting to the point where we need incentives to walk? Stay tuned for all the details.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
The final preparations before a world first. At RAF Wittering in Cambridgeshire, these JCB mechanics and engineers are attempting to rewrite history, chasing a world land speed record with a hydrogen car. The JCB Hydromax puts out 1,600 horsepower, powered entirely by 2 hydrogen-fuelled internal combustion engines. The 32-foot-long vehicle is trying to beat JCB's existing record, which was achieved with a diesel engine back in 2006. It reached a speed of over 350 miles an hour. For chairman of JCB, Lord Bamford, the new car is about pushing the boundaries of new technology.
GB News, the People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Father's Day has long been a fixture in the family calendar. But as household budgets remain under pressure, some are questioning whether the tradition of buying gifts is beginning to fade. Jim Cox has worked in the gift-giving industry for more than 30 years and says Father's Day simply isn't the draw it once was.
We're kind of reliant on the big gifting period. Father's Day is probably the weakest of like the bigger gifting events. It's picked up a bit this week, but probably not as much as I would expect. And I think generally people, like average basket size isn't really where I'd want it either. So I think people are spending a bit less, being a bit careful, and also thinking general trend in gifting is thinking maybe about experiences and spending time with people.
GB News, the People's Channel. GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
What does it do for people who are wounded, injured or sick veterans? What does it do for them to do this sort of voyage on this wonderful sailing ship?
Good morning. It is that human impact, and that's why Turn to Starboard exists, and even at the Invictus Games Birmingham 2027. It's about giving people maybe a reset, maybe seeing, taking that breath, but also a bit of camaraderie as well. Literally everybody's in the same boat. The blue environment is completely different. Everything is different on a boat. Walking, sitting down, making a cup of tea, even going to the loo is slightly different. So it can give people a break from sort of the pressures of life.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Welcome back, everybody. How do you fancy some discount vouchers? How do you fancy those? Do you like a voucher?
I like a voucher. I like a voucher. What's the voucher for?
Well, we don't know yet because the NHS is planning to get you moving for more than 20 minutes a day, and that might reward you with some vouchers.
Hold on, why did you ask me then? Why do I get the voucher for the person who's not moving enough?
You just happened to be in my line of fire at that point there, Christo. The campaign led by Olympic medalist Sir Brendan Foster aims to get people walking to the equivalent of 1 marathon each month. Well, health officials are in talks with high streets and online retailers about a loyalty scheme. But it's all a bit mental, really, isn't it, Jamie?
I tell you what, I think if Burnham calls a general election, people will get moving very, very quickly straight to the polling station. So I think, actually, if you want to get people moving, call a general election. But no, I think, isn't it a shame? I remember being at school and I remember them making it very clear, try and be healthy, but live your life, do what you want to do. We're slowly becoming very nanny state, and I don't like it. I also don't like the fact that the taxpayer has to pay for fat jabs as well. I'm not getting that point either. Self-responsibility and no nanny state, that's what I believe in. But what I think is right is that the government and local authorities should encourage people to do good things. It is good if people go walking. Actually, when people walk down the high street, they hopefully spend money. It's good for the local economy, it's good for loneliness. We live in a world now where I'll just order it online, people aren't communicating, lonely people are getting more lonely, people that are really busy because they're trying to keep their, food on the table for their children, doing 3 or 4 extra jobs. People aren't communicating.
Doom scrolling on X.
Doom scrolling on X, maybe. So I do believe that actually there is some social advantage to people just being out more. And one thing I do slightly miss about the lockdowns was actually spending a bit of time with my family going for a daily walk. That was a lovely thing.
Or you could have taken a drive up to Durham like Dominic Cummings or something. There's lots of things you could have done in lockdown. You could have met your vocal coach.
I could have been ambushed by Kate.
Barry, good idea, bad idea, nanny state gone mad?
Look, the real incentive to go walking is that you're healthier, right? You shouldn't need a blinking voucher and a voucher for what? For a sausage roll at Greg's? I mean, that's not going to be helping you much. But look, I get it. Obesity is costing the NHS over £1 billion a year. And if we can do something to stop those costs, if it does do that, it's worth a shot. It's worth trying it. But quite honestly, I wish, like you, Jamie, I wish we could just say to people, look, have some common sense. You know, take a bit more exercise, do the thing, you know, eat a bit less of these.
Just go out and walk. Poppy, what do you think? Should get 20 quid voucher or something to go for a walk?
I actually have to say, I quite like this. I checked my step count on the break, and I've done 18,000 steps so far today.
Oh, wow. What
I'm
have you
waiting
been
for the
doing?
money in my face.
Think of the voucher.
You're like doorstepping people or something, Poppy.
Well, I'm a little bit curious about how they're going to measure this. Is there going to be someone from the NHS with a stopwatch waiting for you to do laps around your garden?
Yeah, where's streeting?
Or are you going to be able to somehow get a kind of treadmill thing going on where you put some trainers on it, but you're sat on the sofa watching television?
They'll do your step count. They'll check your step count.
What they'll do is, I'll tell you what, this is I've just realised, Christo, this is a terrible idea to get you on the NHS app, so you're all digital.
They will track your step count. Then they'll start tracking where you've got. Then
you need your
they'll
digital
sell
ID.
the information as well to all these people. Digital ID for the sausage.
An alarm will go off every time you go into Greg's.
Yes, I mean, that is where we're heading. The thing is, I am all for empowering people with information. So if you want people to walk more, tell them the benefits. It's great for your mental health. It's great to go out and actually sit in a park for 5 minutes, and walk to the park, walk back. That's all brilliant, but empower them with information. Don't incentivise them with vouchers, because if you're too stupid to realise that going for a walk is quite a nice thing to do and you need a voucher to do it, then I don't know, perhaps you don't deserve to be healthy and be on this earth for much longer.
Yeah, I mean, look, loads of you writing in here on this one, by the way. Chris has said the NHS is also wasting money, Barry, from the top down. I think, can we afford to do this? Is it going to be an NHS black hole? Who knows? Joe says, I was housebound for 8 months. Now I'm out and all the time drinking, clubbing, walking, eating, having parties, meeting new folk. You've got a better life than me, Joe. I know you do. You're having way more fun than I am. But listen, when I come back, we're going to talk about ISIS terrorists who have managed to get over from the channel on a small boat, who are now living off of your dime.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. Very warm weekend to come across southern areas, cooler in the northwest, where there will be some rain from time to time, particularly through this evening, as another weather front pushes into parts of western Scotland in particular, pushing a little bit further north than parts of Northern Ireland and extending down into some areas of northwest England. So a bit of an overcast and damp night to come for many northern areas, much clearer further south and east in particular. Clear skies across many central eastern areas. More cloud across the west in the south and some drizzly rain as well, but it will be a relatively mild start to the weekend with temperatures in the mid-teens for most areas. There will be quite a brisk breeze though across the far north of Scotland in particular. It's particularly the northwestern highlands that are going to see the heaviest rain throughout this weekend, as it does remain relatively persistent. More eastern areas of Scotland faring relatively well. It should be quite a bright start across the far east, but there will be quite a lot of cloud coming and going through the day across many northern areas. Some rain across parts of the Pennines. We could see some across the Peak District as well as the high ground in the south and west. But I think for more southern areas and central areas, it will dry up and brighten up as the day goes on through Saturday. That cloud will push into more eastern areas of England into the afternoon, so perhaps a little bit hazier by the afternoon. Westerly winds as well, bringing a fresher feel across western coasts in particular, but in the east, temperatures climbing towards 27 or 28 degrees. So a very warm day for these areas, slightly much closer to average elsewhere. Further rain due on Saturday night into Sunday morning, particularly across western areas of Scotland, southwestern areas of Scotland, perhaps seeing some more rainfall. We could see up to 20 millimetres accumulating. Much drier further south once again, and that theme continues into next week, but it does turn dry a bit more widely into the middle of next week with temperatures climbing as well. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's a Great British Giveaway Golden Summer Celebration. Your chance to win 2 fantastic prizes. There's an incredible £60,000 in tax-free cash. Plus, you'll also get your hands on a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. For a chance to win £60,000 in tax-free cash and a real gold bar, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus 1 standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry starts at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Yes, good evening, everybody. It is 10 o'clock. This is Patrick Christys tonight. I'm Alex Armstrong, stepping in for Patrick while he's taking a lovely, lovely holiday with his family. On the show. The man's done so many trips, he's turned into Roadrunner, hasn't he? Yes, he's currently legacy building as he's exiting Downing Street very shortly. And Andy Burnham's been taking questions from teenagers on social media. Also... That's right, Britain's become a safe haven for ISIS terrorists and people smugglers. And...
Watch out, massive fatties, the lard police are in town.
Do you fancy 20 quid, go for a walk? How about that? Let's hope it's just not a voucher for McDonald's, because that's the NHS's plan, is to give vouchers to people if they take a little walk. Plus...
We're making sure that pubs can stay open on Monday morning, early on Monday morning, for the England game. So, come on, England.
I mean, you can't make it up. Mexican weather has forced Keir Starmer to U-turn. Well, he's going to have to U-turn his most popular policy now. It's either that or we're all going to be drinking till 5 a.m, which I say bring it on. And...
Sainsbury's are scanning your face like a barcode. They've just announced 200 of their stores are getting live facial recognition cameras. So just like your shopping gets scanned, your face gets scanned.
Yeah, that's kind of terrifying, actually. We're all going to be on the shelves at Sainsbury's soon. They're going to roll out facial recognition in their stores. What do you think of that? Joining me tonight, Associate Comment Editor at The Telegraph, Poppy Coburn's here. Journalist, yes, that's right, yes. Journalist and broadcaster, broadcasting royalty as you're known as, Christo Fufas. Reform UK County Councillor for Epping Forest, Jamie McIver. And get ready for the booing, Labour MP for Brent West, Barry Gardner.
The booing's getting less.
Yeah. You've really got to step it up tonight, guys. Come on, we'll try it again in a minute. Trust me, your Friday night is just getting started. ISIS terrorists are living on your taxpayer money. Next.
Good evening. The top stories. Football's world governing body FIFA is reportedly in discussions to move England's World Cup last 16 game against Mexico to an earlier kick-off time, reportedly due to the risk of weather disruption. According to those reports, it could be moved to noon local time. That's 7 p.m. UK time. There's no clear outcome just yet. The game had been scheduled for 6 p.m. local time. That's 1 a.m. in the UK, but was reportedly moved due to the risk of storms and also to enable more fans to watch the game here. England players Marcus Rashford and Morgan Rogers have reacted to the news.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a game of football at the end of the day, and it might be a small adjustment that we need to make, but in the end it doesn't change our outlook on the game and what we're trying to do. You know, whatever happens, however the game plays out, we're going to try to come out on top.
I wouldn't say an issue. I don't think it really affects us. I think we'll be ready regardless of the time. Earlier probably the better, because you want to play it and get it. I think if we were enough about thinking about what's going to happen, then you just want to play the game. It's always the way, the build-up and that.
Andy Burnham has ruled out calling an early general election if he becomes the Prime Minister later this month. Taking part in an online Ask Me Anything discussion on Reddit, one user asked him whether he would call an election. He replied no. The newly elected MP for Makerfield is so far the sole candidate in the running to replace Sir Keir Starmer as the Labour leader and could become the Prime Minister in July. During the Reddit discussion, he also said it's important to continue the Labour manifesto commitment to maintain the triple lock on the state pension. Tory leader Kemi Badenoch earlier claimed he was choosing to use the online social media forum because it's easier than facing what she called unbiased, neutral media scrutiny. The man who murdered student Henry Novak is seeking to appeal against his conviction and sentence, the Court of Appeal says. Vikram Digwal was jailed for life with a minimum of 21 years in June after fatally stabbing the 18-year-old in Southampton last December. The sentence has already been referred to the Court of Appeal as unduly lenient. No date for either the appeal or the bid to increase the sentence has been set, and no details provided about Digwal's challenge. And as you've been hearing, the NHS will offer awards to people who walk around 30 minutes a day under a new Marathon a Month challenge. Those who complete the challenge every day will walk around 26 miles a month, the distance of a marathon. Users will be able to log walks online or through their phone or smartwatch. And the Health Service says rewards could include incentives and discounts. It's all part of a campaign, the 10-year health plan for England, and aims to sign up more than 100,000 people. Those are the latest GB News headlines. More from me in an hour.
For all the latest from GB News whilst you're on the go, get the GB News app. Scan the QR code now to download or visit gbnews.com/app.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me here tonight on Patrick Christys, and I'm Alex Armstrong. Welcome to GB News, and welcome to Britain. That's right, an ISIS terrorist is living in Britain. This is Mohammed Yassin, 35 years old. He attended beheadings and public floggings in Iraq and came to the UK, surprise, surprise, on a small boat. Well, Mohammed headed to Britain because he didn't like it in France, and he watched a TikTok video saying the country welcomes asylum seekers, maybe a little bit like this video. Well, Mohammed's not wrong, is he? 5-star hotels, benefits, freebies, and up until yesterday, you might have even got a 250 grand brand new house in the rural countryside. Well, Winchester Crown Court heard that Mohammed had lied about his age and his background, and as a result, he was given clean clothes and a place in an asylum seeker hotel at your expense in Basingstoke, Hampshire. Are you surprised? Is anyone surprised anymore? I'm not. Yeah, no, is the resounding answer. Mohammed was reportedly aligned with ISIS, witnessing stonings and beheadings with like-minded individuals, and was also found with a Kalashnikov rifle. Sounds like a brilliant bloke that we want in this country, doesn't he? This led to his conviction for terrorism in Germany, although, of course, he wasn't deported back home and instead decided to travel to Britain via France. Well, he's now serving a 2-year prison sentence and is likely to be deported upon his release. During his court appearance, Yassin was described as a danger to the UK by the judge, and he was labelled a significant public risk. But as I reported yesterday about people smugglers living in Britain, the overwhelming evidence is clear, and it's that our government has lost control of our borders and is effectively operating an open borders experiment, letting who could be very dangerous, violent men, many of whom might have been terrorists like Mohammed, and indeed rapists and murderers. So, when will the refugees welcome here people wake up? When will our government stop letting terrorists literally break into our country? Do you get thoughts on my panel? Associate comment editor of The Telegraph, Poppy Coburn. That's right, yes. Journalist, broadcasting royalty, Christo Foufas. Yes. Reform UK County Councillor for Epping Forest, Jamie McIver. And Labour MP for Brent West, Barry Gardner. Better booing this hour, I think. Better booing. Barry, I'll start with you on this, because your party in government. I'm glad to hear he'll probably be deported under some of Shabana Mahmood's reforms. I'm happy to hear that. However, your party still isn't getting tough on deportations of illegal migrants. Most of them get the right to stay here when their asylum cases have been seen. The ones that don't go to appeal, and it goes to the ECHR, the Article 8 of the ECHR, they're allowed to stay here under the right to life. What needs to happen inside the Labour Party to be able to boot these people out of Britain for good before they get asylum hotels and everything else?
Yeah, well, look, if you start off with where we were, for years, this man would never have come to court. And that's why we have the backlog in the system that we've had. This guy came in December of last year. Within 6 months, he's been taken to court, he's been put in prison, and he's got a 2-year sentence, and he will then be deported according to the judge. So that is action, and it's in stark contrast to the 14 years we had where nobody was going to court. They just didn't process people through the system. They allowed them to build up in hotels and to simply stagnate there. So this actually is a huge shift, that we're actually getting people into court. We're making sure that if they have no right to stay here, if they are criminals and a danger to our society, they are imprisoned for the crimes that they commit here, and then...
Problem is, Barry, we did a report yesterday, a great report by the BBC for a change, actually, good to see it, where they found one people smuggler, a prolific millionaire, who had come over here as an illegal migrant, but he'd been in prison in France for his prolific people smuggling. Yet he was claiming as an asylum seeker and living here. It took the journalists, the media, to figure out who he was, and there's 20 others, according to the BBC. That says to me there's a problem with the system. Surely the border shouldn't be open at all if we know that these sorts of people are coming into Britain.
Look, of course you don't want these people in Britain. It's not as if the border is open and people are being welcomed in.
Of course they are.
It literally is what's happening.
That's literally what's happening, Barry.
No. Sorry.
On the beach and walk in.
When somebody comes into this country, they are processed. If they say that they're an asylum seeker, then they have to be processed as an asylum seeker. The problem was that they weren't being processed. We are now processing them. And that's why, Pache, what you've said, actually, the deportations have gone up, not just the returns, but the deportations have gone up by 40%. under this government.
Well, deportations have gone up of people who are gaming the system mostly through legal routes, but not from small boat asylum seekers. That's a tiny, tiny number. I think it's only 4% since 2018. So Shabana Mahmood will make up less than 2% of that. Go on, Poppy.
I'm going to have to fact-check a few of the things you've said here, Barry. I'm sorry about this. When people say we are getting the asylum backlog down, or we are going through the asylum backlog, you should not see that as a positive thing. What that actually means is decisions are being made to say, yes, it is incredibly difficult to deport people from the country because our definition of asylum, because of all the international treaties we have signed up to, is so broad that it includes all sorts of people that I think average British people would have no idea would even have a right to be in this country. So let's look at the case of the man who killed Rhiannon Sky White. He was a man who arrived on a small boat just a few weeks earlier, and he was from Sudan. He can never be deported back to Sudan, and his asylum claim would have been valid. It would be a valid asylum claim. Now, the question is not, does the Home Secretary cherry-pick cases, as the Labour Party likes to do, they did it under Tony Blair too, to pretend that they're tough. The question is, will you change the broken system? Will you leave the ECHR? Will you exit the 1951 Refugee Convention? Because if you will not, the border is de facto open. Anyone who turns up on a small boat from this country will have to be processed, as you say, as an asylum seeker. And the majority of those people will have a valid asylum claim. And even if they don't, a lot of them can't be deported.
So,
that is why we have
of
hundreds of thousands of people in this country now who most people in this country never wanted to be here in the first place, have been voted in every single election since I was born to not have them here in the first place, being completely powerless about who is in their country.
OK, let me go to Jamie next.
I agree. And one thing I will say is we in this conversation, we obviously get lost in talking about the boat numbers, which, by the way, we do have open borders, because the sheer fact that people take that risk and do that journey proves that they think they can get here. We don't hear much about the boats that are undetected. We don't hear much about the other ways in which people are breaking into Britain. When I was younger and I was at school, I remember my mum telling me about how she was on her way back from Lakeside, and out from the back of a lorry near Essex, a load of people just jumped off and ran into Britain. This is happening every single day. So the idea it's just the boats, it is happening in lots of different ways. But the problem we've got in this country is we have a government that is a soft touch. Now, we can go on about how Labour have done a better job than the Tories on this. I agree. What the Tories did to this country in 14 years when it comes to the borders is an absolute disgrace. They must never, ever be forgiven for it. And I think that's why they don't want a general election, because we're never going to forgive them. But the reality here is we've got people breaking into Britain, and they are a danger to Britain, and they have proven that in their actions. It speaks volumes that the government doesn't see this as a priority. It is a national security emergency. These people need to be detected that are here, detained and deported. But we saw just this week in Shropshire how actually we've got a government quite prepared to see new builds go up to put people in these places. So fundamentally, there's an ideological problem. We have a socialist government that actually wants to welcome these people, but they know they're losing votes because of it, which is why they're pretending to talk tough, as Poppy has said. They're pretending to talk tough on immigration. The truth of the matter is they might as well stand in Dover and say welcome here, because that's how they're behaving.
Christo?
Just firstly, you're absolutely right. We shouldn't forgive the Tories for the 14 years in which they allowed so many of these small boat people to come over, especially the ones that ended up in reform who were responsible for it. But if we go to this story particularly, there's a couple of things that I find really, really worrying about this. He was able to come here and give a completely dishonest account of who he was and his name, and he was put into a hotel. So how many other people have done this? How many other people have done this who are in the hotel, or in these hotels, or in these places right now? Because the only reason he was caught was because there were biometrics done on him, and because of the fact that he had had those biometrics in Germany, where he'd been previously convicted, they were able to be cross-checked. Well, if you are someone that is aligned or has very ill intent, as you pointed out with the example that you gave here in the UK, you've come from Sudan or somewhere like that, you're not in the system as having been convicted or something, your biometrics are going to show that you are okay, and then potentially you are able to stay. And that is a really big problem. I don't know why we can't just detain people until we know that they are at least able to stay in the UK, because these people, some of whom are going to have ill intent, some of whom might be genuine, but some of whom are going to have this ill intent, are allowed to just sort of roam around and do anything. I don't know whether we need to leave the ECHR. I think we could deal with it. Well, I think we could deal with it quicker, because Denmark is still a part of the ECHR. My worry about the ECHR, I'm not a fan of the ECHR, but my worry is we're going to get bogged down with trying to do that. It's going to take forever. When in 1998 we legislated to basically be closer to the legislation of the ECHR. Denmark are in the ECHR. They have legislated within their own sovereign governments to not take on what the ECHR has done. We could do that today with a huge majority and do it far quicker. Well, we wouldn't need to leave the ECHR.
Just to give some stats, I'll come back to you, Barry, for some response on this. So the Home Office / Migration Observatory have said that 4% of all small boat migrants, so that's around 7,000 to 8,000 people, of 190,000 have been returned. So, and a lot of those are voluntary. So there is a problem when it comes specifically to small boat migrants, possibly like this man, many of whom, of course, haven't committed a crime or been accused of being a terrorist. But we just can't seem to send them home because we don't have deportation arrangements with Afghanistan, for example, even with Pakistan in the case we've seen recently.
Yeah. OK. Look, just I think the distinction that Christo was making is an important one. It is right that the biometrics are done, but of course, not in all cases will that actually lead you to be able to identify if somebody is a danger to the country. The fact is that the number of people who are a danger to the country and have proven to be a danger, and there are examples, as Poppy's given and as you have given, who have committed crimes and have come in illegally to this country. Yes, there are, and we need to deal with that. But it doesn't mean that the vast majority of those people who are coming here with ill intent to do that. Now, the example that Poppy gave of somebody coming from Sudan, you've seen what happened just today in terms of what the UN have said about the chaos in Sudan and the civil war there. They've said it's the worst humanitarian crisis they've seen. It's quite understandable that people will be trying to flee from that, and therefore if they come to any country, they can come as a refugee and say, I have a well-founded fear of persecution in Sudan. Or
when they get to France, there's a safe country. They get to Italy, there's a safe country. Spain, it's a safe country.
What it has to do with Britain is if they come here and claim asylum, we have an obligation then to consider them for...
And make our own people...
Can I just say something?
Go on.
Just really
briefly, I don't want to hear from Poppy.
I don't think you've got the mood of the nation here, though, because of the fact that I think that we might have 10,000 people that come here who are all wonderful. 9,999 of them might be absolutely wonderful. If one of them has ill intent, I think the British public would say we don't want all 10,000.
Without democratic consent, you don't get to say you have obligations. Britain is a state. A state has borders. A state consults the people who make up its citizenry and asks them, what do you want to do? And that is the foundation of law. Yeah. What irritates me about people who defend the asylum system on the grounds of procedure is that they haven't asked the public, do you agree with the system? Do you accept the system? Because as far as I can tell, every opportunity the public has gotten to give their voice on this, they have said, no, well, I do not agree. I do not want this. I do not want people in hotels. I do not want people in HMOs. I do not want legal immigration to be higher. And they have been ignored by Labour. They have been ignored by the Conservatives. If there's another government, I'm sure they'll try and ignore them.
Brief response, please, Barry. We're out of time.
I actually think that when you frame it in a way that says, do you want people who are a danger to come into your country? Are there people invading your country? Then you'll get the response that you expect and that you say, Poppy. But I think that if you say to people, if somebody is being persecuted, if they are fleeing for their lives...
Like English people in East London.
If they're fleeing for their lives, and that is proven to be the case, should we be a country that offers those people safe harbour?
No.
And actually, I think the vast majority of the British public will say, yes, we have international obligations.
All right.
And one of the worst things about the situation at the moment is that we've reduced the amount of international aid that we give that could stabilise some of the situations where people are now having to flee from.
All right, Barry, I'm going to have to leave it there, unfortunately, because we've run out of time. A quick one from you. Do you want them to stay in Britain, audience in the room? No. Would you like them to be deported?
Yes.
OK. There you have it. Should we get a Great British giveaway in, shall we? Do you like the Great British giveaway? Yeah, we do like that, don't we? That's one thing we do like to give away for free. 60 grand in tax-free cash and a 5 grand gold bar. How do you like that? Here's all the details.
We're celebrating a golden summer with a terrific two-part Great British giveaway. First, you could win a sensational £60,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like this year. What would you do with that? And that's not all, as you'll also win our most precious prize to date, a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. It's pure gold to own, trade or gift to a loved one and secure their financial future. So make sure you don't miss your chance to bank over £65,000 worth of prizes in our Golden Summer celebration. For a chance to win £60,000 in tax-free cash and a real gold bar, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry starts at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
All right, look, next, England's clash with Mexico in the World Cup round of 16 on Sunday. It's set to be moved, actually. It's one of Keir Starmer's most popular policies, apparently. It's got to be U-turned, not by him for a change, but by the weather. I'll bring you all the details. Lovely stuff.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in, the Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages. Because the news is going to happen. So get a head start today. Patrick Christys tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is
denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to stop.
We can allow politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Yes, welcome back to Patrick Christys Tonight with me, Alex Armstrong. Breaking in the last few hours, England's face-off with Mexico in the World Cup round of 16 on Sunday is supposedly, we don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but it looks like it's going to be moved earlier in the day to noon local time. The local media in the host country of Mexico, of course, has reported it. Now, that means that the game could take place 7 p.m. UK time on Sunday. Right, so that's really scuppered a bad day for Keir Starmer again, really, because he was thinking, I've done it, I've got the country to love me, finally. And now it's been taken away from him. Should we just have a little quick look at how that might have gone for him?
We're making sure that pubs can stay open on Monday morning, early on Monday morning, for the England game. So come on, England.
Well done, Keir. Well done. I mean, it's like he's got the reverse Midas touch of everything he does, doesn't he? He says, oh, we're going to let everyone... So basically now, what's going to happen is this, right? Everyone's going to start drinking at 7 o'clock and then they're going to be going to the pub afterwards to continue the drinking till 5 a.m, right? Because he can't pull it now, can he? He can't pull it now. But look, the Mexicans have U-turned on it. Does it show, though? Does this show? Because obviously we were going to debate whether we should all stay up. That was going to be the debate. But that's gone now, hasn't it? So the question we're going to ask now is, does this just prove the fact that this emergency legislation could come through? Does it just prove that government can actually do things quickly when they want to, Jamie?
Of course it does. And this, I make this point with the illegal immigration. I think it was a national emergency that we might have been in a predicament about whether we sleep or watch England play. So I agree. And when we come to the national security emergency, which is the state of this country's borders, and the fact there are British people that sadly are no longer with us because they have been murdered by illegal migrants that should never have come to this country in the first place. If I was in charge of government, and when we have a reform government, the safety of British people will be a priority. And Parliament is powerful. Parliament is sovereign. Parliament can legislate. They can work through the weekend. I know MPs don't like doing that always, but they can do that. And they can...
We hold surgeries every blinking Saturday.
Not all of them. Not all of them.
Laughing at you, Barry. Not all of them. Go on, Barry. What do you have to say?
I just love the way that even the football can be turned to immigration if you listen to reform.
Well, he's proving Parliament can do stuff.
Can I just say, the really important thing about this is the Mexicans were afraid. They were afraid of that rainstorm. They knew that we're used to playing in pouring rain, and they thought, we want to play in the sunshine, so we're going to move it earlier, and we're not going to play the...
Do you know what, Barry? Do you know what I think? I think they heard Keir Starmer do that, another speech, and just thought, do you know what, let's just trash it for him. Let's just make Keir Starmer's last couple of weeks a living hell for him. Poppy, I guess, look, on a slightly serious note, we saw that vile, filthy piece of work, that Shabir Ahmed, that Pakistani rape gang leader of one of them. He can't be deported, right? This was the message from Downing Street. My jaw dropped when I read that. We can't deport this man because of some archaic law written in 1971 that says that if you're a Commonwealth citizen that's come to Britain before 1973, you get to stay here somehow. What kind of a stupid law is that, first of all? Secondly, why can't they just put an amendment in? They said, no, can't do anything.
You know, something I'm going to really miss about Keir Starmer, and I don't say that sentence very often, is he always used to repeat the phrase, we can't do it because it's illegal, and that means it's unworkable, which is interesting coming from someone with a legal background, because you think he knew that Parliament writes laws.
Yes, you're the Prime Minister.
It's kind of your job. Actually, as Prime Minister, it's literally something you can turn around and say, we want a law to be done, we're going to push it through the Commons tomorrow.
Poppy, I actually agree with you.
We're back to agree.
That actually...
Poppy's having a real profound impact on Barry Gardner tonight, by the way, everybody. He's going to be crossing the floor next week. He'll be a Reform MP before you know it.
No, I will not.
Jake, would you welcome Barry to Reform?
No.
Cheers instead of me.
The point is this, that this guy came as a child at the age of 14.
So what?
Shall I tell you so what? That means that he's grown up in this country. He's now, what, 50-something, 60? He spent all his life here. Now, what he's done is disgusting, vile, and I would happily get rid of him. But what it says is, we have formed this guy. Our country.
Hang on.
Our country bears responsibility for not intervening earlier, for allowing the ghettos that existed.
Barry, can I
for allowing
just quickly? I promise I'm not going to make a political point. I'm just going to give you an example and then ask you to consider what this means. I don't think this man is British. I don't think he's meaningfully British. The principle of withdrawing citizenship from something is actually something the government has done quite recently. So there was a British-born man with only one citizenship, British-born citizenship. He then got Russian citizenship later, and for spying offences, we stripped him of his British citizenship because we said that he was a Russian agent, and so we took it from him. This is a British-born man of English heritage. So it was fine for this man. He was born in Britain, raised in Britain, but we considered him a traitor to this nation, so we withdrew his citizenship. Why can we not do it to Pakistani rapists?
We have. Sorry.
Why not?
With this guy, we already have. And you may not realise that, but we'd actually taken away his British citizenship. OK? So we've done that.
What we did is we messed it up, so then he claimed that he was being made stateless, and then we had no legal framework to deal with that.
The point is this. He's had his British citizenship revoked. He still has and always had his Pakistani citizenship because he maintained dual citizenship. But I think we need to look much more carefully at why somebody who's been in this country, grown up in this country, educated in this country, became the monster that
I'll tell you what I think, Barry. I'll tell you what I think. I don't think it was the education system. I think it's a culture that was surrounding him that has turned that... Unfortunately, whether we like it or not, that is a culture
Alex,
that he's surrounded with.
That's what I said.
But it's not British culture, Barry. It's not British culture,
I said,
in my
why
opinion.
have we allowed that ghettoised culture?
We should never have allowed it.
Persist?
Right, OK, I want to get the views of the rest of the panel. Christo.
I'm not allowing that.
Go on, Christo, just start.
I'm worried you've been hypnotised by your own shirt, Barry. That's what I'm worried with some of your answers. I think I very nearly am.
It's the same colour as your tie.
Yes, but mine is a tie. I've not come from the beach. Now,
you, my dear, have come from the beach.
Thank you.
I have to apologise for the strong language. Sorry for that. Yes, go on, Christo.
Can't we just enjoy the fact... I'm going to be very quick. Can we just enjoy the fact that we might have the football early and just have a nice enjoyment of that without talking about, like, a foreign rapist or murderer? Please, that's all.
Go on, then. Reform UK, what would you do?
Well, he would be on the first flight to Islamabad, I can assure you of that. But the point here is, and this is why the British people feel incensed, at no point in the country's history did we create the grooming gang problem. That is not our doing. That is because of a failure of integration and a massive failure of governments to recognise the problem. It was not the British people that did that, so why should they have to deal with someone like that being in this country? That person should be on the first flight out of Heathrow back to Pakistan, and more importantly, whatever that bit of law is that is stopping that happening to him and others needs to be changed immediately. That's the simple matter of it. And that, by the way, that is what 650 members of Parliament are paid by the taxpayer to do, and that's what should be done.
And I think for me, right, I totally agree with you. I said this the other night. We should find the nearest bit of tarmac in Pakistan and drop him off there. I don't care how it has to happen. He is not welcome in this country. And I think what was the most disgraceful, I don't know about you sitting here in the audience and you at home, is that the Prime Minister is still Keir Starmer. Andy Burnham, who hasn't even been crowned yet, came out and said, let me tell the Home Secretary do something, let me tell the Foreign Secretary go and do something. The man leading our country is completely useless and pathetic on this issue, and I think he's shown that by failing to even just write a tweet from his office, go up on the podium, which he loves to do, to talk about policies. If they want to change the law, as we've proven what we've done with the England game, with the licensing laws, you can do it overnight. And the real test is going to come with this new amendment. It's coming in. I think the Tories are bringing an amendment to the law, and whether or not the Labour Party vote in favour of it, which I believe they should if they want this man out of the country. All right, look, that's what we've got to leave it there for now. Coming up, the current Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, has opened up in a candid interview. It's just dropped. This is fresh. Oh, this is going to be really interesting, isn't it? I'll bring you the details next. He quite likes Burnham, apparently, and will keep his mouth shut as an ex-Prime Minister. to you too.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Plenty of fine weather across Europe at the moment, but Greece is reasonably showery, unusual for the time of year, and a strong breeze affecting the south of Italy. Less breezy for Madeira and the Canary Islands compared with the last few days. Iberia, plenty of hot sunshine and particularly hot through Portugal, mid to high 30s, and mid 30s expected through Italy, but a keen breeze will affect the south of the country, while showers continue for southern parts of Greece.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. Very warm weekend to come across southern areas, cooler in the northwest, where there will be some rain from time to time, particularly through this evening, as another weather front pushes into parts of western Scotland in particular, pushing a little bit further north than parts of Northern Ireland and extending down into some areas of northwest England. So a bit of an overcast and damp night to come for many northern areas, much clearer further south and east in particular. Clear skies across many central eastern areas. More cloud across the west in the south and some drizzly rain as well, but it will be a relatively mild start to the weekend with temperatures in the mid-teens for most areas. There will be quite a brisk breeze though across the far north of Scotland in particular. It's particularly the northwestern highlands that are going to see the heaviest rain throughout this weekend, as it does remain relatively persistent. More eastern areas of Scotland faring relatively well. It should be quite a bright start across the far east, but there will be quite a lot of cloud coming and going through the day across many northern areas. Some rain across parts of the Pennines. We could see some across the Peak District as well as the high ground in the south and west. But I think for more southern areas and central areas, it will dry up and brighten up as the day goes on through Saturday. That cloud will push into more eastern areas of England into the afternoon, so perhaps a little bit hazier by the afternoon. Westerly winds as well, bringing a fresher feel across western coasts in particular, but in the east, temperatures climbing towards 27 or 28 degrees. So a very warm day for these areas, slightly much closer to average elsewhere. Further rain due on Saturday night into Sunday morning, particularly across western areas of Scotland, southwestern areas of Scotland, perhaps seeing some more rainfall. We could see up to 20 millimetres accumulating. Much drier further south once again, and that theme continues into next week, but it does turn dry a bit more widely into the middle of next week with temperatures climbing as well. Bye-bye.
From cold mornings
to warm family brunches.
From football to tennis in the car.
In the kitchen.
GB News Breakfast is there. With the stories you need and the conversations that matter.
Anyway, let's talk business.
Well, it has been a historic night in British politics.
It's astonishing, isn't it?
We're here again to start your day just right. GB News Breakfast.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Yes, welcome back to Patrick Christys Tonight. I'm Alex Armstrong. This is fresh off the press. Have a little look.
Sainsbury's are scanning your face like a barcode. They've just announced 200 of their stores are getting live facial recognition cameras. So just like your shopping gets scanned, your face gets scanned.
My Big Brother watch has drawn attention to the UK supermarket chain Sainsbury's, who are ramping up facial recognition in their stores. So they say they're going to tackle shoplifting with this, by the way. That's after they say a trial helped deter repeat offenders. Well, the technology is now live in more than 55 stores, up from just 2 in September last year. And Sainsbury's plans to extend it to up to 150 more locations by Christmas. What do you hear, first of all, in the audience think? Facial recognition when you go shopping, what do you think about that? Yes? Clap for yes? Right, it's a resounding no, right? And part of the example Big Brother Watch has given, Christo, is that there's been a couple of guys, or men and women, who have actually been wrongly targeted as thieves by their facial recognition software. What do you think of it all?
I'm going to give an answer I've given before, and I'm sorry if I'm becoming a broken record, but I'm so sick of bollards to stop terror attacks rather than stopping terrorists, stabbing and bleed kits on the side of the roads rather than actually stopping knife crime, cheese and chocolate in cages rather than stopping shoplifters, and now facial recognition instead of stopping shoplifters. What does that mean? That all of us, our lives are all affected day to day. Our security is affected day to day. Our enjoyment of public spaces is affected day to day. The fact that we see literally bleed kits on the side of the road, areas where we can't use our phones. I mean, did you see them in London? No phone zones because you can't get your phone out. They don't stop the people stealing the phones. They stop you getting your phone out. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of our lives and our freedoms being restricted because we have people in government. Barry, this is all your fault again. Who don't solve the problem, and so we all suffer because of it. That's what I hate.
Jamie? Well, I have to admit, selfishly, I'm a bit petrified because I'm that person that goes to the very back and make sure I get something that's got a longer date, and I'm worried now I'm going to be caught doing that. But no, on a serious point, again, for me it's state overreach, and I appreciate it's not the state doing it, it's Sainsbury's. I don't trust business to not use that intelligence elsewhere. I think there's a lot of problems there. Isn't it funny that, they can't give you the manager's number to report a problem because of GDPR, but, oh no, they can film exactly what biscuits you're buying. This is, I think, you've hit the nail on the head. Why does everyone else have to be inconvenienced? Because a handful of scumbags in this country need a bit of a lesson. And actually what we need in this country is law and order. We need a tough Home Secretary. If you break the law, you go to prison. Not all of this, well, if it was less than £100, you're not going to waste time. And also, by the way, has anyone ever actually recently tried to report a crime, a non-major crime? It's virtually impossible. So when people like Andy Burnham say crime is down in Manchester, oh, no, we've all lost energy to report the crime, and the shops are an example of that. And I don't blame Sainsbury's, actually. This is a damn indictment on the state. They're taking matters into their own hands. What's the number one thing we shouldn't have to do as citizens is take crime into our own hands. And that's why everyone's got Ring doorbells, not because they want to see when their husband's getting home, because they're worried for their own safety. And it's now becoming a trend. Steering wheel locks on cars, it's become normal.
Poppy, David Clawley here says you could be our Georgia Maloney's. You made quite an impression on David tonight.
Thank you, David.
There you go. That's quite nice.
Can't speak Italian.
Right, but facial recognition. My worry always with these things is slow creep. Also, technology isn't always right. Could you be framed for being a criminal when you've done nothing wrong? And where's the consent from the British public?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I strongly oppose the Online Safety Act for data security reasons. I don't trust a state that arrests tens of thousands of people every year for speech offences. I'm sorry, I don't want to give them any of these powers. Now, obviously, Jamie, as you pointed out, this is actually something that Sainsbury's are doing, and I do think it's correct. Like, they are losing a lot of money every year. I used to work in a supermarket, a little Tesco, when I was a teenager, and this was just after Theresa May had changed the law to essentially decriminalise shoplifting offences when it was under £200 a go. And there was a man who used to come into the shop every single day, and what he would do is he'd get his backpack, he'd zip it open, and he'd go straight to the smoked salmon section, and he'd do like that with his arm, and he'd put all the smoked salmon in his bag, and he'd walk out. And I would watch this happen every day, knowing that I was trained to not do anything about it, because if he turned around and stabbed me or hurt me, they would have to pay out a life insurance payment. It wasn't worth it for the company. I knew that the police weren't going to turn up, even though we had facial recognition of this guy. He was on CCTV. I think we even knew his name at some point. The point is, it comes down to the state. If the state does not enforce the law on petty crime, you will soon see that criminals don't just stick with small-time crimes like shoplifting, small-time crimes like vandalism. It goes up. It goes up to violent crime. Suddenly you end up in a situation where we have no prison capacity in this country because we haven't taken crime seriously for so long. And again, you can't just blame Labour. I know it's tempting to blame Barry for everything, but this is a failure that's happened over 20 years in this country, and we have not treated this stuff seriously.
You're absolutely right. I will say Barry actually isn't in government, so we can't hold him entirely accountable for this. Lynn says, all leading to digital ID. Barry, will you go to Sainsbury's, try and pay for, I don't know, a packet of cakes that Jamie brought in tonight for the show, and then be told, sorry, that's your carbon emissions done for the week? Is that what people should be worried about?
Look, when this company does this, what are they actually doing? Are they arresting somebody? No, they're not. What they're doing is they're then escorting them out of the shop. What does that mean? It means they're sending them down the road as a shoplifter to somebody else.
Yes, exactly.
It's not solving the problem, it's shifting it off your premises to somebody else's. So this is not a solution. Now, I agree with, what was done under the Conservatives was wrong in saying, oh, well, if it's, I think it was 200, wasn't it? Under 200 quid, not 100, then you're not going to get the police taking any action. But what we did do, and this is the first thing that we did on this, I think it was in the Police and Crime Act, we made this shoplifting a tribal either way offence. So if we could build up evidence, and Poppy's example of where you've got the video footage of this guy clearing the smoked salmon off the shelves, and you know who he is, and if this happens over a period of time, then it can actually go to the Crown Court.
All right, we've got to leave it there, Barry.
As a major crime, not be dealt with as something that doesn't matter.
Right, look, Sainsbury's said this. In September, we began trialling facial recognition technology in 2 of our stores. The trial saw a 46% reduction in theft, harm, aggression and antisocial behaviour, and 92% of offenders did not return, meaning fewer frightening moments for colleagues and more reassuring experience for customers. The system is designed solely to focus on individuals who have previously shown violent, aggressive or criminal behaviour. It is not used to monitor everyday shoppers or colleagues. All right, look, next, we're going to talk about who's got their greatest Britain and Union Jack. That's always good fun. See you in 2.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
But what message would you just like to say? Because this one's voted for by the public. Yes. And it's all down to the viewers. What message have you got for those guys?
Well, we've got the best viewers in the world, haven't we? The most loyal viewers, the best viewers. And, of course, they've supported Breakfast for so many years with Ellie and all the other members of Breakfast. And, we can't do it without them.
Yeah, I think we are unique, GB News, in the way that our viewers are really central to everything that we do. So, with our GB Views at gbnews.com, we're always reading off the comments. We have viewers on all the time to talk to us about our stories. I think we are the only place that actually has our viewers front and centre. So it's so nice to have something back in a Trick Award when they recognise, the hard work that we try and do every single year. So please God, 4 years on the trot would be great, wouldn't it?
GB News, the People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Is now wearing a Pegasus necklace badge commemorating the airborne forces. This week, 76 years ago, started the Korean War, often known as the Forgotten War. This is an opportunity for remembrance as well, isn't it?
That's right. In remembering with all of the conflicts, it's affected every single person here who is in uniform. But it doesn't just stop there. Once they do get to the end of their service, they're often felt like they're forgotten about. So a big part of it is about remembering those that have fallen, but also those that are still alive and that are still with their own struggles. I wouldn't be able to do the job that I do now. I lead international expeditions and have done for the last 30 years. And the majority of those skills and that skill set and why I get asked back come directly from my time in the service, my time in the Royal Marines.
GB News, the People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast has won the Trick Awards for the 4th year on the trot. I'm here with Alex Armstrong and Diamond and Ellie Costello. Guys, congratulations. Ellie, how does it feel?
Just incredible. I was really hoping we could do it 4 years on the bounce, but you can't take these things for granted, can you? And I did think maybe they'll want to give it to someone else this year, and I really, really wanted us to win, because Anne is here from her cruise.
Brilliant, yeah.
And Anne, your acceptance speech was amazing. You reflected on your years in the industry. How much does this mean?
I was able to hold one of these was 40 years ago, 1986, for the same sort of breakfast television programme that they said would never catch on.
There you go.
Full circle moment.
And what message have you got for GB News viewers? Because obviously this is voted for by the public.
Oh, it's thanks. I mean, it's real thanks, because that's why this award is so important.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. Greatest Britain this week. Jamie, I'd like to start with you.
Well, tragically, in Ongar, where I'm a councillor, there was a plane crash, and Essex Fire and Rescue Service did an amazing job, so they're my greatest Britons.
We love our firefighters, absolutely. Yeah, Christo, who's your greatest Briton? You could finish eating before you come in.
I'm still eating my biscuit.
Yeah.
I'm going to do Dame Penelope Keith, because she sadly died this week, and obviously she was wonderful in The Good Life, To the Manor Born. Brilliant actress, national treasure.
Wonderful, wonderful. Poppy?
I don't even have to explain my one. It's pretty self-explanatory. Harry Kane.
Yes. Yes. All right, Barry?
This is the most unlikely Greatest Britain you will ever see. I am nominating the Reform MP Sarah Pochin.
Ooh.
So I have to explain why. This week, the nation apologised to all the women who had been forced to give up their babies for adoption. Sarah Pochin spoke in the chamber about her own personal experience, and I think everybody in the chamber on all sides had tears in their eyes. It was an incredibly brave statement at an incredibly important time for that apology to be made.
Yeah, certainly agree. Certainly agree. All right, we'll do a quick vote on your greatest Britain. Clap if you want Essex Fire Service to win in the studio. Okay. Penelope Keith. Harry Kane. Sarah Pochin. I think Harry's won. Is that the first time you've ever won, Harry?
No, I win lots of times.
Oh, OK. All right. Well, let's get on to your Union Jackass, as I've been told to say. Not jackass, but there we go. Jamie, your Union Jackass.
Well, it has to be Lisa Nandy. I just think it's so embarrassing that the Secretary of State in charge of media has had to leave social media.
That's right. OK, yeah, OK. Christo?
I'm going to go for the King of the North, Prime Minister-in-Waiting, Andy Burnham, for his ridiculous, self-indulgent Downing Street up north.
All right, OK. And you, Poppy?
I'm going to have to go for Ed Miliband. Even Dale Vince, the eco-billionaire, says he doesn't want him in the cabinet. So
all right.
says it all, doesn't it?
Barry?
You remember when they idiots cut down that tree in Sycamore Gap? Well, some absolute bozo has just dug up the sapling that was grown from the seed of the sycamore at Sycamore Gap.
All right, look, we've got to vote. We've got to vote. We've got 20 seconds. Lisa Nandy, clap if you want Lisa Nandy. Clap if you want Andy Burnham. Clap if you want Ed Miliband. Clap if you want Sycamore Gap Tree. I think it's Ed Miliband, isn't it? Well done, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on Patrick Christys tonight here. I'm Alex Armstrong, of course. Thank you all for joining me. It's been a great show. And, of course, coming up, we're going to have all of our newspaper front pages. See you all soon.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update, brought to you from the Met Office. Very warm weekend to come across southern areas, cooler in the northwest, where there will be some rain from time to time, particularly through this evening, as another weather front pushes into parts of western Scotland in particular, pushing a little bit further north than parts of Northern Ireland and extending down into some areas of northwest England. So a bit of an overcast and damp night to come for many northern areas, much clearer further south and east in particular. Clear skies across many central eastern areas. More cloud across the west in the south and some drizzly rain as well, but it will be a relatively mild start to the weekend with temperatures in the mid-teens for most areas. There will be quite a brisk breeze though across the far north of Scotland in particular. It's particularly the northwestern highlands that are going to see the heaviest rain throughout this weekend, as it does remain relatively persistent. More eastern areas of Scotland faring relatively well. It should be quite a bright start across the far east, but there will be quite a lot of cloud coming and going through the day across many northern areas. Some rain across parts of the Pennines. We could see some across the Peak District as well as the high ground in the south and west. But I think for more southern areas and central areas, it will dry up and brighten up as the day goes on through Saturday. That cloud will push into more eastern areas of England into the afternoon, so perhaps a little bit hazier by the afternoon. Westerly winds as well, bringing a fresher feel across western coasts in particular, but in the east, temperatures climbing towards 27 or 28 degrees, so a very warm day for these areas, slightly much closer to average elsewhere. Further rain due on Saturday night into Sunday morning, particularly across western areas of Scotland, southwestern areas of Scotland, perhaps seeing some more rainfall. We could see up to 20 millimetres accumulating. Much drier further south once again, and that theme continues into next week, but it does turn dry a bit more widely into the middle of next week with temperatures climbing as well. Bye-bye.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
We're celebrating a golden summer with a terrific two-part Great British giveaway. First, you could win a sensational £60,000 in tax-free cash. And that's not all, as you'll also win our most precious prize to date, a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. For a chance to win, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At the stroke of midnight, the news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
Day in, day out. Forget stuffy late night TV shows. We're giving you a front row ticket to the centre of the political universe.
Because breaking news doesn't wait for the morning.
And neither do we. Join us for one of the most controversial and volatile times of politics in human history.
A very big story.
Big story over here.
You won't get this anywhere else. The Late Show live at midnight, every night.
Only on GB News.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter? So that's a very live question. Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way. You will not want to miss it, trust me.
The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.